Alright, so welcome to another video of the root word method. This is about parsing Surah 99, which is Surah Az-Zalzalah or Surah Az-Zilzal, which is usually translated as the shaking or the earthquake. Alright, so there are I think about 9 verses, if I'm not mistaken. It begins with إذا زلزلت الأرض زلزالها, and so on. So what we will do here is we will get the core of the sentences. Now there are a few words that we will touch on in more detail in Zoom. Okay, so we will do that, like either, what's the difference between either and if, and then about conditional words, conditional particles or conditional nouns. Okay, so those are the topics that we will touch in Zoom. Now here we will do a general parsing of these sentences. Okay, so let's start with the core. So the core is either verbal, which means verb and subject of verb, or nominal, which is subject and predicate. Okay, so let's begin. إذا زلزلت الأرض زلزالها. إذا زلزلت الأرض زلزالها. So straight away you will find, okay, the first thing you need to find is the verb. So you can see here there's a verb here which is zulzila. So zulzila is a verb, therefore we will need to find the subject of verb. Now, by the way, we went through the passive verb topic last week. So this is a passive verb because of the ui, zulzila. So you have the ui here, therefore it's a passive. Therefore in a passive verb you find what we call the co-subject of verb or the deputy subject of verb. In this case, what we mean by that is that you find the object, what is shaken, okay, which means the subject of verb here, which we would understand as God. So Allah, God has shaken the earth. So the earth, al-ard, is shaken, and because this is a passive verb, the object of verb takes the force of the subject of verb, which is pushed, and therefore you have it as al-ardu, not al-arda, right? Therefore this is the what we call the co-subject of verb, and that is the core. Okay, so the earth is shaken. The earth is shaken is the core for verse number 1. Let's go to verse number 2. وَأَخْرَجَتِ الْأَرْضُ أَثْقَالَهَا. And then we see the verb, right? Remember, we find the verb first. If we don't find the verb, most likely the verse is a nominal sentence. Okay, so أخرج is the verb, so we will shade it with this red pen, red highlighter, and then we find the subject of verb, what brought out. Okay, so the earth, which is the subject of verb, as you can see, is pushed with a dhamma. So the earth brought out. Okay, so the core for the second one is the earth brought out. The earth brought out what? Okay, that we will see later in the post section of this verse. Let's go to the next one. The next one is وَقَالَ الْإِنسَانُ مَا لَهَا. Straight away you can see qala, which is a verb. Therefore this is a verbal sentence with a verbal core, and the subject of verb is the man, as you can see, is pushed. Insanu. So the core is the man said. So the man said something. That something is the post. Okay. Next, verse number 4. يَوْمَئِذٍ تُحَدِّثُ أَخْبَارُهَا. So تُحَدِّثُ declares, a verb again. So therefore we have 4 verbal cores in 4 verbal verses. Okay, in 4 verses. So تُحَدِّثُ means declares. Who declares? Okay, as you can see, there's a star there, asterisk, which is referring to it. Okay, so this tuhaddithu is conjugation number 4. It can be it, it can be she, it can be they. In this case it's it, referring back to the earth. So it declares. Okay, so it declares. So you have declares as the verb and it as the subject of verb. Okay, so now let's write down the functions for each one of this. Okay, so zulzila, which is a verb is a verb. Okay, let's put a P there, so it means it's a passive verb. And then you have al-ardu, which is the subject of verb. And ta here is indicative of the feminine ta. Okay, referring to al-ardu. Akhrajat al-ardu, same thing. This is a verb. Okay, this is the feminine ta here, and then you have the subject of verb here. Qala al-insanu, same thing. You have a verb and you have the subject of verb. Okay, and then tuhaddithu, you have a verb and then you have the subject of verb, which is it, which is the implied it, because you can't find a standard noun after tuhaddithu that is referring to the tuhaddithu. If that is, it becomes what? It becomes like yawma idhin tuhaddithu al-ardu akhbaraha. See that? So you can have al-ardu there. You can also omit the al-ardu. Okay, so now you have all the cores for the 4 verses. Okay, so one thing I need to make clear here is that when you see the zulzilat, right? See zulzilat, you have a ta here. This is called the feminine ta. So it's previously zulzilat, but because it is connected to al-ard, so you have a sukun here, right? Sukun and then sukun, zulzilat, sukun plus sukun here is equal to kasra. The same thing with akhrajatil ardu. Okay, so that is just to make it clear that it's a ta with a sukun, which is referring to the feminine, and al-ardu in Arabic is considered a feminine word because of Mother Earth, right? So even in English you say Mother Earth. Alright, so now that's done, the core is done. The next step is we go to the pre's. Okay, we go to the pre. So the pre-core is usually particles. Okay, usually particles, but sometimes can be something else. Let's take a look. Okay, now we take a look at the easier ones. We'll just use blue here. Okay, so wa here you have one. That's the conjunction, particle of conjunction, and there is wa here also, which comes right before the core, right? It comes right before the core. So you have those two wa, and then you have either for the first one, either. Now, as we mentioned, usually what comes in the pre's are the particles, but you have either. Is either a particle or is either a noun? In this case, it's a noun because it's an adverb, okay, which means when, okay. It can be a particle also when what comes after it is a noun. Okay, what comes after iza, as you can see, is zulzilat. It's a verb. Okay, when it's a verb, then you consider either an adverb. Okay. Yeah, that's an easy way to remember, right? So either when what comes after it a verb, then it becomes an adverb. It adds to the verb. It can also be a particle, but I'm not going into that in this video. I'll talk about that in Zoom. Okay, so you have either wa and wa. Okay, so now let's just write the functions of all these three. Okay, so wa would be, let's say it's a conjunction, and wa would be a conjunction here, and either would be an adverb of time. Okay, adverb of time. Okay, now here's the thing. When you go to if you remember in our previous Zoom session, I said that adverbs are like prepositions. Force-wise, it drags what comes after it. And then the point that I want to make here is that I said in the previous session that adverbs and prepositions would be placed inside which column? Do you remember? The post column, right? Post column. So now, how is either here in the pre column? Now, either has a. The answer is this: either is a unique. It has a special function or special. It functions uniquely in the sense that it can also come in front. Okay. Now, I'll explain more on that in Zoom. Okay, but then let's go to yawma idhin. See, this is supposed to be a pre, right? It's supposed to be a pre, but it's an adverb. We talked about this in the previous session. It's an adverb, as in yawma is an adverb, and idhin would be the possessive, right? So if it's an adverb, it should be in the post, right? Which means what? Which means sequence-wise or order-wise, it should be here. It should be like تحدث يومئذ أخبارها or تحدث أخبارها يومئذ. Therefore, يومئذ is actually in the post section. Should be in the post section. So which means what? Which means we are done with the 4 verses in terms of the pre-course. Okay. So now let's go to the post. Let's go to the post. Okay, let's use a green here. Okay, so I'll use green here, and I'll go to the post. Now, the post are. Let's begin with verse number 2. وَأَخْرَجَتِ الْأَرْضُ أَثْقَالَهَا, and the earth brought out its burdens. Okay, so that's a post here. أَثْقَالَ. Okay, so you see a verb which is akhrajat. Okay, a verb akhrajat, and then subject of verb al-ardu. So the earth brought out what? So post is about the answer to who did what to whom. So to whom is the post or the OOV in this case. So this is the OOV because the burdens are what were brought out by the earth. Now the earth did not brought this out because God is the eventual or the original subject of verb, but the earth is just a matter of being used as a subject of verb because of the place from which the burdens are brought out, in this case the dead bodies. Alright, so athqala. So done with that. Okay, but one more thing. So this is noun plus a pronoun. Remember, whenever noun plus a pronoun, okay, and it's attached together, this one doesn't need any thinking. Okay, once you see that, the second one is a possessive straight away. It's just that this possessive structure, you don't put an off here because it's attached. If it's two nouns, separated two nouns as a phrase, then you put an off usually, but in this case you don't put an off, so the meaning is its burdens. So the full meaning of verse number 2 is, and the earth brought out its burdens. So it's quite simpler, right? Making using this big picture parsing. Okay, so let's go to the fourth verse. Okay, if you it's the same thing. If you understand the parsing for verse number 2, number 3 would be easy. So number 2 you have athqalaha, number 4 you have akhbaraha. So akhbara. And if you just look at the meaning, it's quite straightforward, right? Which is what? Which is this is OOV, right? So it declares its news. And like I said just now, when you have noun plus pronoun or personal pronoun, straight away this is a possessive. And we are done with number 4, except for yawma idhin. Okay, so we'll go to yawma idhin later on. Okay, we will go now to zilzalaha. So you have zilzalaha. Straight away you see that you have a verb here, and then you have a subject of verb. Okay, and then you have zilzala. Remember I said when you see zilzala, it's lifted. Every noun that is lifted, first thing that comes to mind will be it's an object of verb. Okay, and then you have 6 other possibilities as we have gone through in the previous session. So we'll just write down here, it is the object of verb. And then remember I said just now, noun plus pronoun. Zilzalaha is shaking, so it's possessive straight away. Yay! So okay, so zilzalaha. Now how do I know it's the object of verb? Okay, now this needs explaining. I'll explain more in Zoom, but I'll just mention one thing here. This needs a detailed explanation because I have to convert this verb, passive verb, into active verb, and then add a subject of verb, and then show you some other stuff, some magic here. It's quite easy when you break it up and you see everything. But I can't do it now just because I'm doing it in general. So just one mention here. When you remember I said before this, when you see a verb, okay, and then what comes after it is the object of verb which has the same roots as the verb, it becomes the object of verb, what we call as absolute object of verb. Okay, so we say it's abs. So this absolute object of verb. Okay, more explanation in Zoom. And maybe one way to understand this is that normal object of verb doesn't have abs, but object of verb that follows the verb, the roots, it has abs because it's strong, because it's rooted to the it's rooted to the verb itself. All right, okay, so we are done with number 1, number 2, and most of 4, and then we go to number 3. Okay, number 3 has a bit of we need to talk about something in number 3 here, which is ma laha. Okay, now ma laha is something that is said. Okay, let's do this. Let's do bigger picture first. The bigger picture is this: you have a verb qala, you have a subject of verb. So qala, when you see qala, whenever you see qala in the Quran or in Arabic text, okay, there must be something that is said, right? Whenever there is a qala, there must be an object of speech. Whenever there is speak, qala means spoke, there must be the object of speech. So what is spoken here? What is spoken here is everything that comes after al-insan, which is ma laha. Ma laha means what is with it. Like, what's up, man? What's up? So but it's actually, like, as you can see, there are 3 words there: ma, la, ha. So la usually means for, something like that, but here it means with. So you have ma, la, ha. So ma is asking, right, what? So what is considered as what is considered as conditional interrogative pronoun. So this is IPN. So interrogative pronoun, so you have to sort of consider this as the beginning of the subject, as in you have to consider this as that dot here, semicolon. You call it semicolon, right? So وَقَالَ الْإِنسَانُ ... So that's the first thing. The ma is the first thing. So whenever you see a pronoun or a noun at the beginning, it's as usual, it's the subject of nominal. Subject of nominal. This should be in red, by the way, but because as a whole, okay, let me just backtrack a bit. As a whole, ma laha is the object of speech. It is what is said. Therefore, we take what is said as the object of speech or object of verb. Okay, so the whole thing is the object of verb. But then when we break them up, you see a few words there, which is ma. Begins with ma, which is the subject of nominal, and then you have la, which is a preposition, right? So you have a preposition, and then you have ha, which means it, which is object of preposition because it comes right after preposition. Okay, now whenever you have something like this, okay, so what's missing here? What's missing here is, you see the subject of nominal? What's missing is the predicate of nominal, right? You can find a predicate of nominal here. Whenever you can't find a predicate of nominal here, you have to assume that the predicate of nominal is. So the meaning would be what is with it. What is with it? So what's the matter? It means what's the matter? And the meaning of the verse is, and the man said, what's the matter? What's happening? Okay, so there you go. We have something which is a post. Now this is considered a post because it's the object of verb, but within the postness what a term. Within the postness of this structure, within it lies a nominal structure, which is subject and predicate, which is implied. Okay, so what is with it? And there's also a prepositional phrase there. And then, so we're done for verse number 3, and then we go to verse number 4. Okay, so verse number 4 is what? يومئذ تحدث أخبارها. يومئذ تحدث أخبارها. Now, so for verse number 4, remember we said that adverbs is at the back, right? So therefore, this يومئذ should be going at the back. So when it goes at the back, okay, so let's just do the function first. So this is adverb, and as I mentioned last week, whatever comes after the adverb will be the possessive that's dragged by the adverb. Okay, so it should be at the back. Okay, so when it should be at the back, later on when you do the arrows, then it will be clearer. Okay, so now let's go to the arrows, and we're going to be done once we arrow all this stuff. Okay, all right, so let's arrow them. So let's go to Zulzila. So Zulzila, verb, pushes the subject of verb. Okay, and then verb lifts the object of verb. Okay, and then zilzalaha. Okay, whenever you see a noun plus pronoun, straight away the object of verb, the noun drags the what comes after it, and it becomes a possessive. Okay, so okay, that's good. We'll come to إذا later on. Now you go to هو أخرجت الأرض أثقالها. Same thing. Verb pushes, subject of verb, verb lifts the object of verb, and this noun has a possessive structure. You know, the first drags the second. Same thing for number 3. قال drags, and then you know this verb also lifts the object of verb. That's how you get the object of verb there. Okay, and within the object of verb there's a subject of nominal pushing the predicate of nominal. So the is would be the predicate of nominal, and then you have preposition drags the object of preposition, and the object of preposition, then the prepositional phrase is linked to is. Therefore you make the linked like this, going back here, and you have a complete arrowing there. And when you go to number 4, tuhadithu, verb pushes the subject of verb, and verb lifts the object of verb, and this noun drags the one next to it. And then you have yawma'idhin. So yawma'idhin as the adverbial phrase, it is linked to, so it goes like, you know, it's linked to the verb itself. Okay, and then you have okay, either here, how do we link to the rest? Okay, more in Zoom. I'll talk about that more in Zoom when we talk about either and it. Okay, so thank you for watching. See you in Zoom soon.